Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Today, just a quick one. Something, one of these interesting reference books. Now this is probably one of the ones you're probably not going to easily be able to get hold of, if I'm being honest. But I just want to talk generally about not just this specific book, but the type of things that sometimes you can get your hands on from sort of second-hand bookstores or ex-library material, car boot sales, things like that. And it's the kind of book that you think, you might think, I don't really need that because I haven't got one of those kits. But one day you might have. I mean, this is the sort of book that I would have walked past and never thought twice about it. But now, with the Wingnut Wings, the Wingnut Wings are no longer with us, but there's still plenty in circulation. Still changing hands on eBay for crazy prices, But this is a perfect book for any of you that have got one of these big Wingnut Wings, Gotha or similar big German bombers. So it's the German Giants, and it says that it's the new, revised and enlarged edition. Well, it was new in 1969, so it's been around a while, this book. But I just thought we'd just have a quick flick through it because it just shows you the type of thing that you still can pick up in bookshops, second-hand bookstores. That have got a lot of useful data. I mean, there's some really nice. I'm going to zoom in so you don't see my mug. Here you go. Some really nice older books around. Don't discount books. I bought a couple of second-hand books recently, including the one for the Sea Harrier. Don't discount your book just because it's it's an older one. Just because they haven't got a flashy cover and they haven't been made in the last couple of years means nothing. Because some of these have probably been researched for decades and decades, and you've got such a wealth of information, some fantastic diagrams which you often can't find these days. And this is obviously the sort of reference material that people like Wingnut Wings were using. You've got some very interesting photographs, You can see where Wingnut Wings sort of got the idea for bringing that into their production when they were doing those instructions, which were so good. And I'd like to see more of this. I'd like to see, generally, we do get it with people like Tamiya, where they bring in a lot of reference material, photos and diagrams. But a lot of the others, you've heard me moan about this in the past, a lot of the others don't do that. And this is where Wingnut Wings were very clever. They brought this concept of having proper reference photos, descriptions, and it became like a history book as well as an instruction book. So we haven't got that now, of course that's gone, but maybe if you get yourself an interesting book like this one, you can find out some really amazing facts, and some of the diagram work is amazing. This is a Strachan R6, I should say. Some of these amazingly big aeroplanes. Look at this, bring you in. Definitely worth scouring second-hand bookstores. And when you go to these model fairs, or obviously you go to things like Scale Model World, I'm guilty as anybody of sort of walking past some of these bookstores. And it's probably a bit of a mistake because there's such a wealth of resource there. Look at this. You'd struggle to find this out on the internet. You'd spend years researching on the internet to get something that's as good as this book. So, people say to me, "Oh, who needs books because you've got the internet?" Right, okay. But that's all very well. Depends on what you're looking for, really. If you're going to embark on a Wingnut Wings kit, for example, that's something that's very expensive and very, very high quality, you don't want to just start looking on the internet. You'll be there for years, quite frankly. You need a specific book with all the data in there, and this is the kind of thing that will do it for you. So those that don't like reading books or have a problem with it, I don't really understand, because you're going to spend a lot of your life wasted in front of a screen when you can buy something like this straight away. You've got kind of everything you need to know, really. Look at that one that's crashed here. What's this? Is this the seaplane? SSW R6. So it's a Strachan again, isn't it? One here that's crashed. Look at this. It's sort of crumpled like a paper plane. It's quite funny. Okay, so that's what it should look like. And this one's crumpled up on landing and had a bit of an accident. It's really quite comical, isn't it, really? It's almost like a bent bird, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go through this, you'd be here for hours, but it's just nice to see, these reference photos where you've had these accidents, and gives you a chance to see the underside of the aircraft, which you often don't see. So much information, it's just a wealth of knowledge, really. Linker Hoffman R11. I have to confess to you, I'm not an expert on these World War I planes, but they're very interesting subjects because you can see the evolution of flight right before your eyes, Camouflage pattern, the lozenge style camouflage pattern there, that's nice. It's amazing. There's so much of it, But these are the big birds, as it says, the German Giants, as they call it. Dorniers. Look at the wing profile of this one. That looks a bit more like a Second World War aircraft, doesn't it? How interesting. Junkers R1. Some amazing photos. The original photos are probably long since lost. And this being produced in 1969, some of these photos probably don't exist anymore. They've just degraded so much they're beyond use. So you should always consider getting yourself a really damn good book. So this is the German R planes, 1914 to 1918, World War I German Giants. Aeronautical books. A very interesting publication. If you've got one of these monsters from the likes of Wingnut Wings, I think Wingnut Wings in a way spoiled us, but that's the way it should be because they were expensive relatively, but not too expensive. They were good value, but they spoiled us with some of this data because it makes you realise that when you look at those kits and then you go and look at something like Border Model, and they've got this dire basic diagram only instructions with no written words in it, no photos, no history, no nothing, frankly. Everybody's sort of rolling their eyes because they're moaning there, but it's true, isn't it? I mean, if Wingnut Wings could do that, you can at least expect some English and basic instructions in some of these guys' products. Tamiya can do it, and some of these Chinese manufacturers are charging Tamiya-like prices, so we can expect it. I'm not a fan of what's going on, the way they're, I think making excuses for them just helps them to carry on doing it, so I think we say no. Personally, I'm very reluctant. I mean, we saw that the TACOM Chieftain tank, well, that was done quite well, apart from they didn't have any titles for each page in the construction, but apart from that, great illustrations, nice bit of history, pretty good. I'd accept that standard, yes, but not what you get from Great Wall Hobby and others like Hong Kong Model. I mean, they're all at it, aren't they? Really, it's not good enough. In a way, Wingnut Wings, you could argue, made it not vital to go out and buy books like this, but you do now, don't you? If you've bought a Border Stuka or I don't know about the Border Lancaster, but yeah. It's not really, I mean, that's obviously a catastrophically expensive model anyway, and to me it should be, imagine, as we talk about the Border Lang, just imagine if that had been produced by Wingnut Wings. I mean, can you imagine the beauty of the presentation? I mean, I know they bought the rights to the painting, which is very nice, that's on the cover, but I'm talking about the rest of it really. The beauty of the way that Wingnut Wings would have interspersed it with photos and, archive quotes and experiences, action reports and all that kind of thing that they used to include, and none of that's come with the Border version, has it? So it's actually one of their better productions, but then at the price they're charging, it needs to be, and it's not as good, I don't think, as its sticker prices, so I'm not very interested in it really. Don't like the way it was brought to the market. There's all sorts of things I don't like about it, but as a kit, it's very impressive, of course. But the point is, the supporting literature is not up to it, and it's not uncommon now. We get Revell. They're not great at it, are they? Either. If we're really honest about it, I think we need to demand as consumers. We should insist the game is raised by these people and accepting terrible instructions, you know. So I mean, these books like this, it's an old book, but it's fantastically deep and resourceful, you know. And you're going to need that, aren't you, if you get something that's like, well, take the classic example for you. The Fokker triplane, which of course was beset with moulding problems. This is the Border Fokker triplane. Sorry, Meng, I beg your pardon. Sorry, Border, I take that back. Meng Fokker triplane, sorry. Which they got from Wing Up Wings from the molds. But again, a complete dearth of any kind of detail or background history. And just imagine, again, that would have been a beautiful presentation from Wing Up Wings. We know what it would have been like. We've got a very good idea what that was going to look like. And it just isn't good enough. The main presentation was just nothing, you know, awful. And they're still charging a fairly decent price, so you know you can get away with that if it's as cheap as chips. If it's Airfix or Revell, you can kind of get away with it a little bit, but you can't when you're, you know, Great Wall Hobby and you're charging £80 or whatever. I mean, what's that? F-15 Strike Eagle, that's the E, that's about £75–80 now, is it more? 85? It's a lot of money, 48 scale. A lot of money, and it doesn't come with a whole lot of supplementary data, shall we say. You've got to assemble your own instructions and so on and so on. Anyway, I'm going off into one of my classic rants, sorry. We're really talking about the value again of some fantastic reference data. Something like that will set you up, you know. So, as I said earlier, never discount the second-hand bookstores. You're at Scale Model World or any model fair, have a look at what there is, because there's always gems there waiting to be found, you know. There are little Easter eggs that are hiding in those stores. There's always something that's worth having. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting. Just a quick one. I'm going to give that book, well, I mean, this was produced in 1969. It's in black and white, so then most things are in black and white then, so I can't knock it a point off. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10, that book. I think it would have been nice if they'd updated it again, perhaps, or had been in colour, but really it's in very nice condition as well, actually, for a 1969 book, isn't it? I mean, we've got just an occasional little minor tear and things. I think something's repaired that one. But it's in good shape. I think a really nice book. 9 out of 10 is my verdict there. Hope you'll give me 10 out of 10. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you are not a subscriber, then you can click on the subscribe button. If you are already, don't forget to ding the notification bell, because that will bring you early notice of every time I'm uploading another vid, and you won't get to be the last person to find out about it, and you can be ready and waiting, especially if it's a live channel. So anyway, in the meantime, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate your time. Hope you found it a little bit interesting, and until next time, thank you very much for joining me. Take care of yourselves. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.